He said, "Don't you forget about me. Don't you forget about me." I'm still doing my boy. Take me on. I'll be gone. I feel good, bro. Going good, man. My content really, my content decides how my day gonna be. I woke up to my content going great, so I'm gonna have a great day. Take me, I'll be What about you, gang? How you feel? Nah, for real. Got work at 2:30. What time you get off? I'll probably just take my gang to work. Fuck it. Yeah, we can hop off, bro. I ain't gonna keep playing. It's about time. Been overdue. That boy said, "Take me on, take me on, I'll be on."
In my 11th of the worst YouTubers video, I discussed Austin Jones, a YouTuber who became famous by uploading song covers. He was even set to perform on the 2015 Warped Tour until it was revealed that he had been messaging underage girls in private and getting them to perform explicit acts for him on camera. There's no denying that he was
Why do y'all like underage girls so much?
thinking about how there have been other musicians out there far worse than him. So I decided to list the ones who I consider to be among the most evil. Here are 7 of the most evil musicians. Tim Lambesis is the lead singer of the
I'm 24 and my girl 33. I like it that way. Y'all like it the other way around. Y'all like to be talking to these young girls. They can't do nothing for y'all.
And even having Jesus and a cross tattooed on his body. He also adopted 3
Besides, be a little freak for you.
Really seemed to love them as if they were his own.
Y'all sick.
All in all, Lambesis seemed like a very nice religious man and a loving father. However, as you can probably guess from his inclusion in this video, things obviously took a dark turn. In August 2012, while on tour with As I Lay Dying, Lambesis sent an email to his wife informing her that he no longer loved her, no longer believed in God, and had been having an affair. The two later divorced, with his ex-wife, Megan Murphy, stating that Lambesis...
No, I ain't know now. I'm on the game right now, guys. Yeah, they in Florida. Is that shit X-Shooter 23, bro? I'm not seeing that shit. You might just have to add me when you get home. Yeah, she crashing, ain't she?
She also stated that he was very negative.
She back there knocked out.
Including in situations that could have been potentially
Hold on, let me help her.
Such as falling asleep while they were playing in the pool. In May 2013, Lambesis was arrested after it had been reported that he had paid...
That's the Grizzly, I told you. I'm about to comment my name.
Apparently asked an acquaintance at the gym if they knew anyone who would kill his wife. Lambesis was referred to a hitman with the code name Red, who asked him if he really wanted his wife dead, to which he replied, "Yes, that's what I want." He then gave Red $1,000 for expenses, pictures of his wife, her address, and the date on which to carry out the hit. He also asked for the hit to be carried out while he was with his children, so that he'd have an alibi. However, Red...
Imagine a charming
Is that better, Ty?
with a disarming smile, cruising the streets in a Volkswagen Beetle, luring young women with tales of injury and pleas for help. This was Ted Bundy, the epitome of evil hidden behind a facade of normalcy. Born in 1946 in Vermont, Bundy's early life was shrouded in deception, raised believing his mother was his sister. As he grew, so did his dark urges.
Yeah, I turned it up too.
How you... He began his reign of terror.
Why would you make me think you my sister? Like, why would my mom make me think she my sister?
He'd feign a broken arm, asking victims to help load items into his car, only to strike them unconscious with a crowbar. Bundy's method was calculated.
I only seen that on Tyler Perry movie.
Assault and sometimes revisit the bodies for necrophilic acts. His victims, often college-aged brunettes resembling his ex-fiancée, numbered at least 30 confessed, but experts suspect more.
That's what I just said, the Tyler Perry movie. What's going on?
But beneath the charisma lurked a monster who reveled in control and domination. Bundy's killing spree escalated.
So that's where you must have stole it from.
To Utah, then Colorado. In 1974, he abducted and murdered several women near Seattle, leaving bodies in remote forests. One survivor, Carol DaRonch, escaped after he impersonated a police officer and tried to handcuff her. This close call didn't deter him. Instead, he refined his tactics. By 1975, he was arrested in Utah for suspicious behavior, but evidence linked him to murders. He escaped twice, first from a courthouse window.
Just because I look like her, bro.
Prolonging his horror. In Florida,
it's crazy because when they used to tell him, like, he going after these girls, they used to start dyeing their hair and all type of shit.
Bundy's intelligence
cutting their hair off,
his
all type of
escapes,
shit.
but his arrogance led to mistakes. He drove a stolen car, got pulled over, and his charm failed him. As police pieced together dental records from bite marks on victims,
Why is you
the
biting the
net
dead
tightened
bodies?
around this nomadic predator who crossed state lines to evade capture. What drove Bundy? Psychologists point to a fractured childhood and rejection. He once said, "I didn't know what made."
We go pause it right there. Look. Let that have been a black dude. What caused it? Oh, he just sick. He's crazy. He's unstable. But every time I notice this, bro, it's not racist to say or nothing like that. Every time a white person do something crazy, they try to say it was house problems or they mental, or they try to give them some excuse, bro. They do not be trying to excuse black people, bro, I swear.
Things tick.
It's that they a thug, they just sick, they just want to kill people.
Actions screamed sadism. He'd keep souvenirs, heads, jewelry from his kills, storing them in his apartment. In interviews, he spoke of possession, viewing victims as objects. His trial in 1979 became a spectacle. Bundy defended himself, turning the courtroom into a stage. Women flocked, mesmerized by his looks.
And they still wanted him.
Gruesome details emerged.
Still wanted him in the court while he getting murdered for sentenced for murders and
during the trial,
doing all type of sick shit. They still, oh my God,
sentenced to death. He confessed to 30 murders to delay execution.
Weirdos.
Revealing dump sites. Bundy's case highlighted how serial killers blend into society, charming their way into trust.
Like, y'all don't know, it's serial killers, when they go to jail, bro, people put money on their books and send them letters.
Bundy's final days were marked by desperate appeals and revelations. From death row, he bargained information for time.
And they stuff be selling for millions. Like, who want that?
Investigators marveled
The knife that Ted Bundy used in all his murders. $2 million.
In 1989, as execution loomed,
Why would I want
protests
that?
raged outside Florida State Prison. Some cheering, others mourning the misunderstood man. Strapped to the electric chair,
Called it a
Bundy
misunderstood
uttered
man.
no last words of remorse, only a nod to his lawyer. At 7:16 a.m. on January 24th, he was pronounced dead, ending a saga that captivated America. His ashes scattered in the Cascade Mountains, near early dump sites. A poetic, chilling close.
Why?
Bundy's legacy? He inspired profiling techniques.
They put
of
him where he
FBI,
was killing people.
where agents like Robert Ressler interviewed him to understand psychopathy. Shows like
I'm not
Mindhunter
understanding
draw
this at
from
all.
this, blending fact with drama to dissect the killer's mind. Beyond the kills, Bundy's influence permeates pop culture. Books like Anne Rule's The Stranger Beside Me, written by a former friend, expose his duality. Movies portray him as the handsome devil, Zac Efron embodying him in extremely wicked, shockingly evil, and vile.
That movie fire,
But
go watch it.
victims' families remind us of the real horror. Lives cut short, like Linda Ann Healy, abducted from her basement bedroom. Bundy's case spurred changes in law enforcement, emphasizing interstate cooperation. Today, his Volkswagen Beetle sits in a museum, a relic of terror. As we delve into his psyche, remember the survivors who testified, their bravery piercing his facade. Bundy's story isn't just about evil, it's a cautionary tale of vigilance, urging us to question charm that masks malice. In the end, His execution brought closure, but the scars on society linger, fueling our fascination with the darkest human depths. Reflecting on Bundy, one can't ignore how he manipulated the system, even from behind bars. His interviews revealed a narcissist who blamed pornography and society, never himself. Experts debate nature versus nurture. Was he born evil or shaped by abandonment? Genetic studies post-mortem found no anomalies, pointing to environment. His mother's denial of paternity fueled rage. Bundy's tale teaches empathy's limits. Some souls are voids. In true crime communities, debates rage. Was he the smartest killer? Escape suggests yes, but hubris caught him. As YouTube dives into unsolved cases, some link him to more victims, like the 1961 disappearance of Anne Marie Burr. Ultimately, Bundy's horror reminds us, monsters walk among us, disguised as everyman. Stay alert, question anomalies, for in his wake, safety protocols evolved, saving countless lives from similar predators lurking in shadows. Picture Milwaukee in the late 1980s. A quiet apartment building hiding unspeakable horrors. This was the domain of Jeffrey Dahmer, the Milwaukee cannibal, whose calm demeanor concealed a voracious appetite for death. Born in 1960 in Ohio, Dahmer's childhood hinted at darkness. Fascinated by animal bones, he dissected roadkill. By 18, he committed his first murder, bludgeoning hitchhiker Stephen Hicks after a sexual encounter gone wrong. Dahmer's pattern emerged, luring young men, often from gay bars, with promises of money or drinks. He drugged them with sedatives in laced beverages, strangled them, then dismember and preserve parts. Cannibalism and necrophilia defined his crimes. He ate flesh to keep them with him forever. 17 victims, mostly minorities, fell prey.
If you eating flesh,
1978,
you're not keeping them with you forever because you're shitting them out.
Dahmer's story blends isolation
Do people
with
think when they
repulsion.
do stuff?
A chilling dive into a mind where humanity dissolved into depravity. Dahmer's killings intensified after his army
I
discharge
just can't hold it
moved to
for too
Milwaukee.
long.
In 1987, he murdered Stephen Tuomi in a hotel, waking to a corpse with no memory of the act. Alcohol-fueled blackouts masked his urges.
That boy
He
Jeff
rented
Dahmer was
apartment
crazy.
213, turning it into a slaughterhouse. Victims like Tony Hughes, a deaf aspiring model, were lured, drugged, and experimented on. Dahmer drilled into skulls, injecting acid or boiling water to create zombies, living sex slaves. Failures
Nasty.
led to death and disposal. Bodies dissolved in acid barrels.
Yes,
Skulls
his
bleached
house in Dickinson,
kept as
Bath.
trophies. Neighbors complained of foul odors and buzzing saws.
His
but
house where he
police
was
dismissed
lived
it
at Dickinson,
as
Bath, Ohio.
domestic issues. One escapee, 14-year-old Konarak Synthesome phone, was returned to Dahmer by officers who ignored his drugged state.
Why would y'all
mistaking
take
it
me
for a
back,
lover's
bro?
quarrel.
Oh my God. Just
Hours
imagine
later,
you escaping,
the
they
boy
take you
was
back,
dead,
bro.
highlighting systemic failures that prolonged the nightmare. Dahmer's psyche, abandoned by his mother, neglected amid parents' divorce, he craved control. I trained myself to view people as objects of pleasure instead of people, he confessed. Loneliness drove him. Eating victims was intimacy's twisted form. His 1991 arrest came via Tracy Edwards, who escaped handcuffs and flagged police. Officers discovered photos of dismembered bodies, a head in the fridge, parts in the freezer. The apartment yielded 11 victims.
Man,
Remains.
that's only because he was
Dahmer's
white,
calm
bro. They was
confession
letting him
shocked.
get away with it.
He detailed each kill, expressing remorse or manipulation. Trial in 1992 riveted the nation. Deemed sane, he got 15 life terms. Families' victim impact statements pierced the air. Errol Lindsay's sister screamed fury. Dahmer's case exposed racism in policing. Many victims were
Told you.
black or Asian, ignored due to marginalized status. It's a stark reminder of overlooked communities in crime's shadow.
He was in Milwaukee,
Prison,
like he knew he
Dahmer
was in the
found
perfect
religion,
spot, bro.
baptized
He knew
in
what he was doing.
But fate intervened. Inmate Christopher Scarver bludgeoned him to death in 1994 with a metal bar, claiming divine orders. Dahmer's brain was preserved for study, but a judge ordered its cremation amid ethical debates. His ashes divided between parents, symbolizing fractured roots. Legacy? He spurred FBI's focus on cannibalistic killers, influencing profiles. Netflix's Dahmer Monster series, starring Evan Peters, reignited interest, blending horror with social commentary. But critics decry glamorization, urging focus on victims like Ernest Miller, a dancer with dreams. Dahmer's tale warns of unchecked isolation. Early interventions might have stemmed his path. As true crime evolves, his story dissects the banality of evil, how an ordinary man became a devourer of souls. Diving deeper, Dahmer's experiments echoed Frankenstein, seeking eternal companionship through lobotomies. Failures haunted him, yet he persisted. Post-arrest, he aided police, sketching victims to aid identification. A rare cooperative killer. Books like The Jeffrey Dahmer Story by Don Davis chronicle the descent. Pop culture nods in songs, films, but victims' advocates push back, founding memorials. Milwaukee's Oxford apartments demolished, erasing the site but not memories.
He was
Dahmer's
happy about what he
influence on
did for real.
psychology. Terms like disorganized killer fit his impulsive acts, yet organization shone in cleanup. Debates rage. Was he monster or mentally ill? Insanity plea failed, but bipolar hints surfaced. His narrative urges mental health awareness. Ignored cries for help breed tragedy. In YouTube's crime sphere, recreations grip viewers, blending facts with eerie visuals to honor the lost while exposing the beast. Ultimately, Dahmer's horror underscores societal blind spots. Police returned a victim to him, systemic bias at play. Reforms follow. Better training on LGBTQ+ issues, minority protections. His interviews revealed detachment. It was like a compulsion. I couldn't stop. Nature, nurture, brain scans showed abnormalities, fueling debates. As ashes
Yo,
scattered,
what's the deal, my
closure
boy?
eluded families. True crime pods dissect alibis, but remember Oliver Lacey, last victim, whose escape attempt failed. Dahmer's saga teaches vigilance. Report suspicions, support the vulnerable. In a world of hidden predators, his story is a beacon, educating on red flags like isolation, animal cruelty. YouTube trends amplify this, with immersive narratives keeping audiences hooked on justice's pursuit. Dahmer's end? A violent echo of his deeds.
How you feeling, my boy?
But humanity's resilience shines through survivor stories. Step into 1970 Chicago suburbs, where a jovial clown entertained kids at parties, hiding a graveyard beneath his home. This was John Wayne Gacy, the killer clown.
Hey, I watch
whose
his
double
movie
life
like
shocked
every
the
blue
world.
moon.
Born in 1942, Gacy endured an abusive father who mocked his weight and sexuality. Managing KFC outlets, he projected success, married twice, active in community. But darkness brewed. Sodomy conviction in 1968 for assaulting a teen. Parole.
A new show out? Oh yeah, I gotta watch it.
8213 Summerdale Avenue. From 1972 to
That movie
he
fire,
murdered
I ain't gonna lie.
33 young men and boys, luring them with job promises at his construction firm. He'd handcuff them in magic tricks, strangle with rope or board.
Cause
assault
I got this
post-mortem.
magic trick.
Bodies crammed
When you
in
handcuff
crawl
you,
space,
turn around.
some in
You
Des
turn
Plaines
around.
River
Next thing you know,
with
you
space
getting choked.
ran
You
out.
like, bro,
Gacy's charm disarmed.
where the trick at
Neighbors
though?
smelled decay, but
Trick me
accepted
dying?
sewer excuses. A tale of hidden rot in America's heartland. Gacy's spree
You ain't say
targeted
all that,
drifters,
bro.
runaways, easy prey. Victim Robert Peist, 15, vanished after meeting Gacy for a job. This sparked investigation. Police surveilled, noting odd behavior. Searching his home, they found class rings, handcuffs, not his. Second search unearthed the horrors.
Yeah, bro.
26
Richard
bodies in
Ramirez, he
crawl
was
space,
on
decomposed
bullshit,
in
bro.
lime. Gacy confessed
Oh my
casually
God,
over
bro.
breakfast, drawing maps. I should have been convicted of running a cemetery without a license, he joked. Methods varied, some drugged,
He
others
was crazy,
overpowered.
bro.
He kept wallets,
He was going to
IDs
anybody's
as
house, bro.
trophies.
If your
Divorce
shit was
fighter.
unlocked, bro,
His
was in there.
ex-wife recalled strange odors. Dismissed. Gacy's Pogo the Clown persona performed at hospitals. Added irony. Evil in grease paint. Arrest in 1978 ended the nightmare. But families grappled
He probably the
with
reason people
unidentified
start being
remains.
scared of clowns and shit.
DNA later ID'd more, closing wounds. Gacy's story exposes how predators exploit trust in everyday roles. Psychologically, Gacy embodied dissociation. Jack the killer, John the citizen. He blamed victims, calling them worthless. Childhood trauma, beatings,
And
head
what make me
injuries,
worthless, bro?
perhaps fueled split personality. Trial in 1980 was circus-like. Insanity plea featured experts debating multiple personalities. Jury rejected, convicting him in hours. Death sentence for 12 murders. Pre-1977 Illinois law. On death row, he painted clowns, sold for thousands, profiting from infamy.
That's what I just said, bro. Why was they making all these money
by lethal injection?
off being a
His
serial
last
killer?
words, kiss my ass. Brain autopsied, no abnormalities found. Legacy? Inspired It clown horrors. But real terror lingers. Films like Gacy depict the duality.
They was paying him
Victims like
thousands,
Timothy
bro,
McCoy,
just for him to draw
first
clowns,
killed,
bro, in there
remind
eating
of
good.
lost potential. Gacy's case pushed for better missing persons protocols, highlighting overlooked youth in society's fringes. Gacy's home demolished, lot now empty, a void mirroring his soul. Artworks burned by some owners, cursed relics. In prison, he denied remorse, claiming self-defense. Interviews revealed narcissism. I'm the real victim. Books like Buried Dreams probe his mind. Pop culture echoes an American horror story, blending fact with fiction. But advocates focus on survivors. One escaped after Gacy tired. His story warns of charismatic facades. Community pillars can harbor evil. Chicago's gay community, hit hard, gained visibility in victim advocacy. As true crime surges, YouTube recreates searches, crawl space horrors with tense narration. Gacy's influence on forensics, soil analysis from bodies aided IDs. Debates on capital punishment flared at execution. Protests outside. His end brought justice, but questions linger. How many more hid bodies? Vigilance key in his chilling wake. Delving into Gacy's methods. The rope trick was signature. Tourniquet around neck. Twisting till death.
Like, bro, just started talking so evil.
Verses during acts. Twisted piety. Early signs. Molesting boys in Iowa, yet paroled swiftly. Post-divorce. Freedom unleashed. Police missed clues. Prior conviction ignored. 1990s exhumations.
Like, bro's talking like
ID'd
this, bro.
more via DNA. Tech advancing closure. Gacy's paintings. Clowns. Disney. Fetch high prices. Ethicists decry. Series like Conversations with a Killer use tapes. His voice.
Bro, I'm about to
Chilling
skip this part,
audiences.
bro. He making me mad.
Victims' families form support groups, turning pain to purpose. Gacy's tale dissects evil's banality. Ordinary man, extraordinary crimes. In YouTube's grip, slow build suspense, mirrors investigations, hooking viewers on revelations. His legacy? Enhanced background checks for community roles. protecting kids from hidden predators in plain sight. Reflecting, Gacy's horror underscores ignored red flags, complaints dismissed, victims marginalized. Reforms, Illinois tightened parole for sex offenders. Brain studies post-mortem fueled psychopathy research. No evil
I don't think I heard about Happy
trauma's
Face
roll
Killer.
clear. As ashes scattered, no grave marks his end. True crime pods debate accomplices, none proven. Remember John Butkovich, employee turned victim, sparking
Bro, I don't know what he's still talking about, dude.
monsters among us. In the shadows of Soviet Russia, amid Rostov's forests, lurked Andrei Chikatilo, the Butcher of Rostov, whose 12-year spree claimed over 50 lives. Born in 1936 Ukraine, during famine, Chikatilo witnessed cannibalism horrors, shaping his psyche. Impotent, mocked by family, he turned to violence for arousal. Teaching career masked urges. First murder, 1978. 9-year-old Lena Zakotnova, lured, stabbed in sexual frenzy. He targeted children, runaways at train stations, promising candy or rides. Methods brutal. Stabbing eyes to extinguish life. Mutilation. Cannibalism. Bodies left in woods, some with removed genitals. Soviet denial delayed justice. Murders blamed on hooligans. Chikatilo's unassuming look, glasses, briefcase, let him blend as a family man. His tale weaves
Bro, why
oppression
dude just
with
start talking
depravity.
so slow?
A
Now I'm
grim
about to
chapter
cut him off,
in
bro.
Cold War crime annals. Chikatilo's killings peaked in 1980s, roaming Ukraine, Russia.
I can't take it, bro.
Tide boosted test. Makeup ruining your fit? Try Tide. It's boosted. The other guy can't match Tide's boosted clean. Looks like we passed.
Yes!
It's cleaner, whiter, brighter, and fresher. It's got to be Tide.
Who's it? If you could hire someone to play someone in your life, who would that be?
Being serious.
This job is a chance to play roles in the lives of real people. On November 21st, don't miss the perfect feel-good movie of the year. Rental Family, rated PG-13.
You can't prove anything that happened yesterday. Now is the only thing that's real.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the documentaries that tackle dark subjects in unsettling ways. For this list, we'll only be looking at standalone projects, so no docuseries, as they deserve a list of their own. There will be spoilers.
Why? How could you not tell us?
Number 50, Tell Me Who I Am. If you forgot your worst experiences, would you want to hear about them or live in blissful ignorance? That was the struggle Marcus Lewis went through when his brother Alex lost his memory at 18.
I said to Marcus, "Who is she?" And he just said, "She is our mother."
Tell Me Who I Am follows the two siblings. It starts out wholesome with Marcus painting a picture of a perfect childhood. Things fall apart when Alex finds a horrific childhood photo, leading to the revelation that their mother had abused them.
It was too weird. It was just too strange.
The final part reveals what Marcus could never say to his brother, that she allowed men to hurt them as well. It's a harrowing look into the effects of trauma, and how telling a happy lie can help the one telling it cope with the truth. Number 49, The Witness. For decades, Kitty Genovese's murder was explained away as a result of the bystander effect.
She didn't quite make it halfway down the block before the killer drove a knife into her.
It wasn't until her brother Bill's investigation in The Witness that the truth came out. It follows Bill as he investigates the then 50-year-old case, from tracking down known witnesses to looking through interviews conducted by officers. It revealed that the initial story of 38 people ignoring her cries for help had been a fabrication. Many called the police, but were rebuffed as they had already been told about it. Others were unaware of the true nature of the attack. One woman even held Kitty as she passed.
It would have made such a difference to my family, knowing that Kitty died in the arms of her friend.
It deconstructed deconstructs everything the world has known about the case and forces us to see it for the tragedy it was.
I've come to realize that the whole truth about Kitty's death will never be known.
Number 48, Gladiator Days, Anatomy of a Prison Murder. What drives a person to murder? It's hard to say for sure. Gladiator Days, Anatomy of a Prison Murder attempts to answer that question by showing the viewer the lead up to and carrying out of a violent killing. It's centered around Troy Kell, a convicted murderer who earned his spot on death row by repeatedly stabbing another inmate to death.
You shouldn't respect anybody. It's kind of like, just, it doesn't matter.
In his interviews, he gives the audience glimpses into his mind, from his hateful white supremacist viewpoints to the apathy driven into him by the prison system.
I would classify myself as a separatist, though.
While neither excuses his actions, it gives insight into some of the factors that may have contributed to the act.
If the state doesn't kill me, eventually someone will get me.
Number 47, Three Identical Strangers. As adults, Edward Gallant, David
Man, me
Hellman,
too.
and Robert Shafran learned they were each other's long-lost triplets, but that was just the beginning of their story.
Because we be waking up too early, bro.
Grin, the same hair, the same expressions. It was his double.
Three Identical Strangers delves into their discovery and how they learned that their entire lives had been the result of a psychological study. At birth, they were separated and placed into different homes in order to study the nature versus nurture phenomenon. Even their adoptive parents were left in the dark.
And they had me taking tests.
Just imagine you got two twins, bro. Not just one, two
The
twins.
results won't be published until 2066, leading to both the subjects and the audience wondering if it was worth it. Not only did it reveal a less-known form of human experimentation, it also showed how it manifested into each of their psyches as adults.
There may be still twins out there who still don't know that they're twins.
Number 46, An Unknown Compelling Force. One of the most compelling mysteries of the 20th century is explored in An Unknown Compelling Force, which offers an in-depth analysis of the Dyatlov Pass case.
In 1959, after failing to report back, 9 students were found frozen to death in subpolar conditions.
The film attempts to answer the question of what happened the night a group of hikers chose to flee their tent despite being unprepared for the freezing weather. Interviews with outside sources helped fill in some of those missing pieces, interspersed with reenacted footage of what occurred the night of their deaths.
Could ask God only one question? That would be, what happened to my friends?
There are also various theories presented, including one that suggests they had been attacked. Though it ends without any conclusive answers, it's so well done that it will leave you at the edge of your seat the whole time.
Because they're so different, there had to be 3 or 4 assailants involved in whatever this incident was.
Number 45, Hated, G.G. Allen and the Murder Junkies. If there was ever a documentary that perfectly summed up its subject, it's this one. Hated, G.G. Allen and the Murder Junkies shows us the subject's incredibly literal take on the phrase sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
I don't know, I don't think about the future, I think about what's happening today.
It showcases Allen's career, from his intense and often nude
I don't know how to
to
do
his
the,
sexual proclivities
that
offstage.
3 average
His penchant
viewers,
for
bro. I
violence
don't
and
know.
obscenity helped create a punk persona to hide the broken man
I
behind
seen this one dude said you got to keep the viewers all the way to the end of the stream or something like that.
From self-harm to
I don't
admitting
know
that
what
he
to
felt
do,
he would be
bro.
a serial killer if he wasn't performing. It's clear that there was much more than met the
It's
eye.
not
It
going
didn't
up.
take away
Like,
from
even
any
the
of the
days I had
violence
3
he committed,
viewers,
but
it's
did
just
offer
not
a
moving.
different perspective of his
Still at
mindset.
0.
If you know Gigi the way I do, you can't talk Gigi out of doing anything that he wants to do.
Number 44, Jonestown, the women behind the massacre. By now, it's clear just how evil Jim Jones was. However, he wasn't the only one pulling the strings. Jonestown, the women behind the massacre, puts the female companions in his life on the metaphorical stand. Though they were likely ensnared in his manipulative trap, they still had a hand in carrying out his infamous
That's what
massacre.
I'm saying, bro. It's just not moving, bro. And I done had 3
Not
views
only did they
multiple
reportedly come
times.
up with the correct poison-flavored
Like
drug ratio
yesterday,
for
I had like 5
and
views.
even helped distribute
So
it
for it not to
minors.
go to 1.
The documentary
Crazy.
reveals their correspondence, wherein they were candid about their own eventual deaths and the love they had for the People's Temple.
I don't know if it just take time to update or what.
And a perpetrator all at once.
They were Jim's girls.
Number 43, Just Melvin, Just Evil. After hearing about the contents of this documentary, you will vehemently agree with its title. Just Melvin, Just
Yeah,
Evil
that's
is
what I'm
centered
about to
around
start
Melvin
doing,
Just's
this-
family and how he permanently
this
impacted them.
starting
He
to get-
sexually assaulted nearly a dozen of his relatives from the time they were young.
That's how you start getting irritated and discouraged, man.
Just destroyed our lives. Yet the true focus of the film is about how several of them had gone on to live hollow lives. Several of his daughters, blood-related or not, were shown struggling with substance use disorder, homelessness, physical trauma, and even thoughts of taking their lives. The worst part, he was never punished for these attacks.
Why did you do that? I didn't do that, son of a bitch.
It is a bleak yet eye-opening look into how trauma is the antithesis of linear progression, and how some never fully recover from what they've been through.
What was the worst crime he did in your mind?
Murder.
Number 42, Black Gold. You may not think the coffee industry has much to
I need them people in them group chats to join, bro. We got so many people in the group chat. And they got Twitch, bro.
Being sought after in the Western world. Those
They just don't join every time I send a link, bro.
The documentary follows their union's leader on his journey for the price of the beans to be raised.
Well, Marty was just in here.
Fairly compensated.
You work 8 hours, full 8 hours.
I'm just saying, that's irritating, bro. That's my cheat code right there.
It is a stark look into how
Yeah,
something
that's
many
just
in
so
the United
easy.
States take for granted is the key to someone's success and livelihood elsewhere.
I'm very sad because I'm looking like just it's man to me, my farms.
Number 41, Paradise Lost. The child murders at Robin Hood Hills. Their case is an infamous miscarriage of justice, and this documentary was among the reasons the defendants in the case were eventually freed. It focuses on the 1993 case wherein the West Memphis Three, Damien Eccles, Jason Baldwin, and Jesse Miskelly, were accused of assaulting and killing 3 boys while partaking in a satanic ritual.
Damien Eccles told the church's youth minister he had a pact with the devil and he was going to hell.
The film documents their trials, from a dubious confession from Miskelly to religious imagery being used against Eccles. The parents of the deceased were also interviewed, serving as a reminder that despite the injustice, the crime led to understandably heightened emotions.
To me, this place as I stand is like hell on earth.
The movie gives a glimpse into how easily manipulated the justice system can be, especially when it comes to securing a guilty verdict.
I don't worship the devil or anything like that.
Number 40, experiments in the revival of organisms. Some of our greatest advancements have come at the expense of others, particularly animals. There's no greater example of that than experiments in the revival of organisms.
As you can imagine, technique is everything.
The Soviet Union documentary follows the process of using machines to replicate bodily functions in order to reanimate organs. The parts in question were sourced from a dog, whose decapitated head even makes an appearance. It's exposed to aerated oxygen, which then allows it to briefly respond. It is distressing and fascinating all at once. That description becomes even more apt when they temporarily put another dog down before connecting the corpse to their machinery and successfully bringing it back to life. However groundbreaking it may be, it is a hard watch, especially for dog lovers.
After the experiment, dogs live for years, they grow, put on weight, and have families.
Number 39, Orozco the Embalmer. When a death occurs, most of the ceremonies following it sanitize the reality of what just occurred. Events like wakes and funerals focus more on the memory of the deceased rather than the death itself. There's one place where the reality comes out. The embalming table. Orozco the Embalmer is centered around a man working in the death industry in Colombia. The viewers are treated to close-ups of the corpses as they're worked on. It highlights the underappreciated work he and others do to prepare bodies, from washing and dressing them to casually slicing into them. The non-glamorous presentation highlights just how mundane both death and the violence nearby have become, and how it's just another day for him. Number 38, Missing 411. People go missing every day, but when multiple cases all look eerily similar to one another, some connections are going to be created. Missing 411 is a documentary investigating
I think that's the national park.
youths.
And as I ran up that trail, I yelled and yelled and screamed his name and screamed Jared.
Yet rather than assuming this
I
was
think
carried out
Missing
by an
411 is
director
the
David Paulides suggests
missing
they felt
people
there
at
was something
national
more
parks, how
fantastical
people
or
just
even
disappear at the
paranormal.
park.
The victims all have similar disappearance stories, all the way down to having supposedly traveled miles despite being young. Though there were no definitive conclusions by the end of the film, the evidence being presented forces viewers to consider that these coincidences may be more intentional.
Some of these situations are so unusual you have to think beyond the bounds of what's normal. What's a normal explanation for this?
Number 37, Gimme Shelter. What was intended
The
to
national
really be a
parks
free
be
show
having
became
that
horror.
weird shit out of.
Doctor under the left-hand scaffold as soon as
Gimme Shelter followed the Rolling Stones on the tail end of their 1969 U.S. tour, including a ticketless concert in California.
We're gonna kiss you goodbye.
The security was handled by the Hells Angels, a notorious biker gang. The film shows the copious drugs being taken and fights breaking out. Things only got worse. At one point, 18-year-old Meredith Hunter got into a fight with one of the Angels, who then stabbed him to death on camera. It is a harrowing look into one of the most controversial nights in rock and roll, and the worst part is that it was entirely avoidable.
Come on now. That means everybody just cool out.
Number 36, I Am Jane Doe. It's no surprise that the internet can be a seedy place, especially when it comes to personal ads. I Am Jane Doe exposes just how horrific it can be. It investigates a now removed website called Backpage, where users could and did pay for sex. Many of those being advertised were underage.
An incredibly profitable, as horrifying as it is to say, business.
The documentary focuses on two girls that had been kidnapped and trafficked, with posts advertising them appearing on Backpage. The families tried suing the site, but courts were siding with the business. While they had more luck with the Senate, by the time the film ended, nothing had come of the suits.
What if it was your daughter? How would you feel then?
Number 35, The Dying Rooms.
We entered China separately on tourist visas, each carrying parts of a hidden camera that were only assembled once we were in the country.
The one-child policy in China was intended to reduce the population. It succeeded, but at the cost of countless girls across the country. The Dying Rooms focuses on orphanages that house minors, particularly girls and disabled boys that have been abandoned by their parents.
This law, hated by the people of China, has brought the state international condemnation.
There, they were left to die of neglect. What the crew found while filming can only be described as horrific. Victims were tied in place on makeshift potty chairs or packed together in cribs, and protocols confirming safety and hygiene were ignored. Despite the horrific footage, the policy remained in place for another 20 years.
That problem is likely to get worse, very much worse, in the near future.
Number 34, Tell Them You Love Me. The thought of someone abusing their position to take advantage of others is awful. Tell Them You Love Me follows Anna Stubblefield, a former college professor who'd been helping Derek Johnson, a non-speaking man with cerebral palsy, express himself.
And when I asked him to spell as many words as he could using these 4 letters, he made a very good showing.
The documentary shows examples of their communication, giving off the impression that they were becoming closer. Eventually, Stubblefield took advantage of him, claiming they were in love.
He asked me to kiss him, and I did.
That's when it was revealed that he was incapable of communicating with her in the way she claimed, and that there was no way he could have consented. This reveal recontextualized both their entire relationship and the film as a whole. Even after being convicted in 2015, she is still convinced she hasn't done anything wrong.
From my perspective, she was having conversations with herself.
Number 33, The Dancing Boys of Afghanistan. It's shocking how normalized some acts are, even if they are technically illegal. 2010's The Dancing Boys of Afghanistan delves into one of the more twisted underground sects of society, Bachabazi.
But to expose this secretive culture, first he has to get inside it.
Boys are kidnapped or coerced into dancing for older men, under the guise of making money for their families. Though banned in Afghanistan at the time of filming, it was still a thriving industry. Between footage of victims dancing while dressed in feminine regalia were scenes depicting men training a new child. What's even worse is that the abuse goes far beyond the performance, and that they are harshly punished if they fight back. It is a stark, brutal reminder of the dark underbelly of society, and how it continuously preys on the most vulnerable.
Preference by L'Oreal Paris. Radiance
They
for long
sick,
quality
bro.
color that lasts up to 9 weeks.
I know last week was bad, so what are we going to do? Keep our chins up. Yeah, chins up, guys.
We can. Yes.
So we're going to keep our chins up, probably...
Got you a gift. Gifts that say I get you.
Thanks, guys.
Etsy.
Out of my way, pigeons. I get Uber credits back on my rides because I am a student.
We do too.
We do too.
Style and substance in the GMC Sierra.
Number 32, Manson. The Tate LaBianca slayings of 1969 shocked the country. 4 years later, a documentary centered around the perpetrators, Charles Manson's Cult the Family, was released, offering an in-depth view into their lives.
I know Charlie. I know him inside and out. I became Charlie.
Manson had begun filming the year of the massacre. Afterwards, Charles allows him to continue documenting them. The result is a compilation of disturbing interviews with members. Multiple clips make it clear just how revered Manson was, with him even being referred to as a god.
I've been laying up here paying for your sins for 2,000 years.
That, combined with their penchant for guns and violence, makes it clear just how dangerously unhinged the cult was. The creepiest part is members' old photos edited in next to scenes of their new selves, showing how far they'd fallen since getting swept into his cult of personality.
The Manson family is now serving a combined sentence of 321 years.
Number 31. Zoo. You may remember this incident from the infamous video that circulated the web in the mid-2000s. Zoo covers not only Kenneth Pinion's, more commonly known as Mr. Hand's, life, but also the horrid act that led to his death and permanent notoriety.
Before I knew Mr. Hand's real name, it was always Mr. Hams.
In 2005, his passing following a sexual act with a horse led to an investigation that would unsettle even the bravest viewers. The farm Pinion had utilized was a cover for an underground zoophile ring, where several men gathered to engage in adult activities with stallions. The documentary includes interviews with those engaged in the acts and even reenactments. It is an insane deep dive into one of the most disturbing paraphilias, and how it went unpunished for years.
The brother just kept saying, "Keep me away from this guy. Just keep me away from this guy."
Number 30. Killer Legends.
They had a lot of speculations on who did it, but it was never, no one was ever brought.
Telling scary stories is a formative experience for many, but the roots of some of the most iconic ones have often been ignored. Killer Legends sets out to fix that by taking 4 of the most well-known urban legends and delving into their history.
Some schools stopped celebrating Halloween. They stopped using the word Halloween, and they start talking about having a
What's the deal, Adam? What's up with it?
New Jersey passed a law specifying penalties for people who were caught contaminating Halloween trees.
From the Candyman to evil clowns, each villain is analyzed, with some of the most wicked having connections to serial killers like John Wayne Gacy. It perfectly hits the balance between creepy and informative. It makes viewers realize just how much overlap there is between reality and horrific fiction. After watching this, it'll be practically impossible to hear a haunted tale without wondering what real-life monster served as the inspiration.
Everybody knows that people are afraid of clowns. Everybody knows that something's up with clowns. And the last couple of decades have just been confirmation of everything they ever feared.
Number 29. The Blackout Experiments.
I started to have some second thoughts about whether or not I should do this.
I'm doing good too, bro. Just chilling. I ain't got nothing going on, BG. I just gotta work today.
So many of our natural instincts, there are still people that will intentionally put themselves through the most extreme or terrifying circumstances. So what exactly drives them to do this? The Blackout Experiments dives into this phenomenon by interviewing those who had taken part in an uncomfortably immersive haunted house experience.
You know, we all live once, and I guess we all want to do something that's risk-taking or scary.
Although they're put through extremely intense scares, ranging from being partially stripped to being put through various methods of torture, they still come back for more. As the sessions continue to ramp up, the audience is left wondering when it will all go too far. It is a fascinating look at how far some will go to push themselves, even when there's no reward for doing so.
No, like S&M.
On receipt of this email, fill out the questionnaire below and send it back today. I see a camera on.
Number 28. Grizzly Man.
I'm out in the prime cut of the Big Green. Behind me is Ed and Rowdy, members of an up-and-coming sub-adult gang. They're challenging everything, including me. Goes with the territory. If I show weakness,
Top 50 creepiest documentaries ever made.
I may be hurt, I may be killed. I must hold my own if I'm going to stay within this land.
This demonstrates that nature isn't as docile as it's portrayed in Disney movies. Following the final years of Timothy Treadwell's life, Grizzly Man is the ultimate cautionary tale. It documents his steadily increasing delusions of befriending bears and how this leads to his horrific fate.
It's July 26th, and I've been dropped off all alone again, here in the Grizzly Maze. And it's always such a surreal feeling as the plane takes off, and it doesn't quite sink into you, but just how alone you are. That for the next 2 months or more, you will be alone in this wild wilderness, this jungle, that the bears have carved tunnels through,
It's made even more hard-hitting with clips and recordings made by Treadwell himself, including one that captures every grisly second of his and his girlfriend's deaths. The audio was reportedly so horrific that the director omitted it, meaning it was left to the viewers' imaginations to fill in the blanks themselves. It is a harsh reminder on the mindless brutality of nature, and how love for a wild animal will always lose to its base instincts.
Truly, you must never listen to this.
I know, Werner. I'm never going to.
And you must never look at the photos that I've seen at the coroner's office.
I will never look at them. They said it was bad.
Number 27, Beware the Slender Man.
Appreciate the sub, bro. I'm a nice dude, man. Positive dude. Cool dude, chill guy.
She didn't react the way that you would expect her to react, like at the movies.
The internet has allowed even the creepiest creations to become widespread phenomena, for better or for worse. When Slender Man first took the web by storm, no one could have ever guessed it would
Real one.
attempt. The documentary about the case delves into the teenage suspects' mentalities, such as their belief in the boogeyman and their insistence that the stabbing was at his bequest.
If you're a proxy, supposedly you live in the Slender Mansion that all the creepypastas supposedly live in, and it's supposedly in the middle of the...
They was watching too much creepypasta, bro.
Despite physical proof of their obsession, such as chilling drawings, their parents were still left in the dark up until the stabbing took place, showing how easily concerning behavior can slip under the radar, as if the crime itself wasn't enough. It's accompanied by unsettling animations and visuals that would frighten even the bravest souls.
It's hard with kids because they don't necessarily know how to differentiate between fantasy and reality to begin with. So it's just hard to know, you know, where to draw the line. Where does that become abnormal?
Too much creepypasta. Y'all kill her talking about Slender Man and then talking about
Jim was not celibate.
you can live in the mansion with all the creepypastas.
Until perhaps it was their time to find out. What he spoke from the pulpit wasn't what he did behind the scenes.
Although the fates of Jim Jones and those he led were heavily covered by the media at the time, the full extent of his abuse wasn't really known by the general public. In 2006, the public was given fresh insight from surviving members themselves. The movie covered the cult's
This dude, Jim Jones, he the dude that made all them people poison themselves because he knew the cops was coming.
Speeches, wherein he pitted his followers against the rest of society.
We had a lady who visited us a week ago here and was speaking to one at the door, and she was a member of a prominent church, a pastor's wife. And she said, I think that the poor should be made to control how many children they bring in the earth. Do you remember? Some leading scientists say we have to have euthanasia. Oh, no.
Each lurid detail reveals more of Jones's twisted intentions and acts, all leading to the mass death event orchestrated by
And if you listen to the audio, you can even hear a girl stand up and say, so you gonna kill all these kids? And he like, take her out of here, take her out of here. Because she caught on and what was going on. She was like, hold on, you trying to make us kill ourselves. Took her up out of there.
She's calling Jim Jones on some of the things that he has...
You can hear people crying in the background. And
25. A certain kind of death. In the modern age, practically everything is turned into an industry.
But it was during like the racist times.
Every step of the process, from the
He like all the black people that was like homeless and ran away from their slaves. He was basically taking them in.
Punches whatsoever, showing everything from recently deceased corpses in all their
Because he knew that they needed somewhere to go.
I can just imagine if we do find a relative, the response is going to be probably non-emotional. Is that, oh, okay. Well, we always wondered what happened to them.
The macabre imagery is coupled with the mortician's seemingly detached emotions from their work, proving that one can become numb to even the most upsetting things. The result is an undoubtedly fascinating yet dark look into a process that everyone will eventually go through, even though they won't be aware of it.
Looking through Mr. Canner's things, he may have had a preemie. But here's actual pictures with his name written on his plot, which I've never seen that type of an organized situation. So he had buried his partner in a plot that he originally owned.
Number 24, Tickled.
One of the reasons that it's hard for us to go on camera or to take part in the documentary is that, first of all, we don't think it would be very good for the company that we were in Laura, because it seems like the spin, we have no control over what the spin would be.
The internet is full of strange rabbit holes that are often tempting to dive down. However, in doing so, you may come across something you can never unsee. The director of Tickled experienced this firsthand after stumbling across a video depicting competitive endurance tickling, and immediately knew he had to know more.
I wake up every morning to a message from Jane and Brian Media, who you guys work for, with a list of various personal attacks and also legal threats. That's been happening daily. You started this fight. You were the one that decided this is what you were going to do.
The film covers his descent into the phenomenon, all while being insulted and threatened by the company distributing tickling videos. Things only become more twisted as victims remarked on the financial abuse and blackmail they underwent by the perpetrator. After seeing this, it'll be near impossible to see a piece of odd content without wondering about the person on the other end, or their true intentions for making it.
You're not welcome here. We're not welcome here, and I'm calling the police. Bye.
You're not welcome here, and I'm calling the police. Bye. Yeah. They
23, The Nightmare.
They recently just deciphered one of his ciphers that he had.
Flipped over on top of her. I woke up. And I was still laying in my room.
I think he still got like 2 more that they still ain't unciphered.
I was just completely shocked. I had no idea what was going on. I just did not know what to make of it.
While we may think bad dreams are only confined to our minds, there are ways they can manifest in the real world. Sleep paralysis, a temporary condition wherein one's brain wakes up but their body remains frozen, is the center of the nightmare. Sufferers recount their experiences with the state, including visual and auditory hallucinations, and even feeling as though they were being touched.
Person on the other end was just like a very pleasant man. And he was like, oh, I was wondering if you could do me a favor.
What kind of favor? As if that isn't off-putting enough, they then recreate each person's tale with visual representations of the supposed demons bothering them. They also delve into how other cultures see the phenomenon as proof of demonic possession and the ancient rituals they use to expel them. It shows how our minds will find ways to work against us, even while unconscious.
There was never an explanation for the Shadow Man except for hypnagogic.
Appreciate you for stopping by anyway, bro. Have a good day, bro.
Doctors like to throw around, but it really means you just imagined it.
My guess is we conceptualize things in our unconscious based on, like, snippets of information that we pick up along the road somehow.
Number 22, Girl in the Picture.
When I first learned that Tanya was actually killed by a hit-and-run driver, it was more than likely Franklin Floyd that had committed that. I mean, this guy was going to be violent. Catching him might be tricky.
Even the worst crimes can go on completely unnoticed for decades. No case exemplifies that more than the kidnapping and eventual murder of a girl known only in life by her fake name, Sharon Marshall. Her tragic story lives on in Girl in the Picture, which details every aspect of her horrific torment leading up to her death.
Man,
and the
bro.
search to find her true identity.
Once I get my computer, bro, we can start playing anything.
So we begin to see the pattern.
Especially if we both get a computer, we can get Steam.
Her upbringing, including being forced to marry the man who abducted
on
and
that
raised her,
shit.
were horrid enough on their own. What makes it even scarier is how it went unnoticed until her mysterious death. It is unfortunate proof of how we truly never
Well, I know you already
behind
got one,
closed
though.
doors, often until it's too late.
When we examined the skull, we found 2 bullet holes to the back of the skull, and the orbital bone was broken under one of the eyes. It was definitely not a natural death. There was definitely homicidal violence involved in it, So yes, it was classified as a homicide almost immediately. We looked at all of the local agencies. We weren't able to identify the skeleton.
Number 21, Deliver Us from Evil.
I mean, he took me
Yeah,
out
I need
of the
some.
house.
Can you stream on it though?
Sometimes I get car sick.
I'm thinking about just getting a laptop at this point. I wanted to monitor
I mean, I was on Highway 12,
and like
2 minutes away from my house.
all that, but I think I'm gonna just get a laptop.
Hours, that abuse was happening until my parents came and said, "We have fun with Father," and I'm like, "He tickled me too much."
The Catholic Church has had a hand in covering
So I can travel anywhere with it.
This documentary dives into one case
Cause I know I ain't going to be stuck in one spot anyway.
Had a ripple effect across several lives. It's centered around a Californian priest responsible for the assault of over 24 young victims during his tenure.
Here's somebody that I like. Here's somebody that I respect. Whose family I respect. What would he feel like at the end of this? Yet at the other side, there was urges within me to
I'm about to look it up
be
right
sexual
now.
with him.
Between haunting letters he sent detailing his horrific acts to testimonies revealing his vile manipulation tactics, it's hard not to watch without feeling extreme disgust. It was even revealed that other officials were aware of his crimes for years and took measures to shield him from the law, implying that they silently allowed the mistreatment to continue.
Are you at all concerned, Oliver, that if you give testimony that hurts the diocese, that they might revoke that?
I have a lot of concerns about a lot of things, and I guess that
The
was
bitch basically a
Number
Steam
20,
Deck for the
Mommy, Dead,
Xbox.
and Dearest. Released by HBO, Mommy, Dead, and Dearest chronicles the events that led to Dee Dee Blanchard's death.
The truth is,
I would definitely grab that one.
I did actually stay up for a little bit.
It details how she committed factitious disorder imposed on another, or what was once known as Munchausen syndrome by proxy, on her daughter, Gypsy Rose. Blanchard essentially made it seem like her daughter suffered from a number of terrible ailments. While upholding the lie, the mother put her child through unnecessary surgeries and other terrible things. Gypsy Rose then conspired with her boyfriend, Nicholas Godejohn, to kill Blanchard. It's unsettling to think of the horrors that pushed a daughter to slay her own mother. No matter how
damn near everything.
Mommy, Dead, and Dearest makes for one creepy viewing experience.
I take blame on myself and I blame other people, but I never once blame you.
Number 19, Tabloid. Back in September of 1977, Mormon missionary Kirk Anderson was supposedly abducted and abused by a woman named Joyce McKinney. The story became known as the Manacled Mormon case.
She said to him she was going to go on having sex with him until she found she'd missed a period and would then hopefully be pregnant by him.
This terrifying story was extensively covered in the British tabloids, specifically the warring rivals Daily Express and Daily Mirror. The documentary Tabloid conveys these events with unnerving detail and is even narrated by Joyce McKinney herself. That shocking choice immediately brings viewers closer to the case than they expected. As a result,
Yeah, I'm probably gonna grab that laptop on my next check it.
has multiple viewpoints and perspectives.
Just go order that laptop.
I was like his little,
Then I'll focus on getting that too.
Hundreds of civilians, including the family of a Finnish commando who took revenge. I'm sending you to clean up your mess. Unleash hell.
Sisu Road to Revenge. In theaters November 21st. Tickets on sale now. Rated R.
Don't forget, I'm also just a ticket, standing in front of a tech, asking him to resolve it.
Oh, yeah, just did.
That was fast. Sweet. Guess I'll just go then.
If you're starting your holiday shopping a little early, don't sleep on Sephora at Kohl's. They have all the viral beauty sets and gifts $50 and under. Really great value. Plus, you can grab them while you're already at Kohl's. A one-stop shop. A cute gift, no stress, and you don't need
Wacky almost. Number 18, There's Something Wrong with Aunt Diane. This troubling documentary tells the story of the 2009 Taconic State Parkway crash, a nasty traffic collision that resulted in 8 deaths.
It was a horrific scene on the Taconic Parkway near Route 117 this afternoon. This burned-out shell was all that remained of a minivan after the head-on crash, which left 8 people dead.
It was caused by a woman named Diane Schuler, the titular Aunt Diane. On that fateful day, she was the one traveling on the parkway in the wrong direction. It's a very disconcerting story that is rooted in unimaginable tragedy. Throughout the documentary,
BG, bro.
questions are raised about Schuler's
It's my first video for Spank 400.
Interviews with grieving individuals, and some rather uncomfortable topics. There's Something Wrong with Aunt Diane puts forth a very uneasy atmosphere.
I feel like someone's gonna say, 10 years later, it proves what happened.
Like, that's crazy, bro.
To the story.
Number 17, Team Foxcatcher. The story of John DuPont was
This is
famously
crazy,
captured in the
bro. The
2014
video going
film
crazy, and then the fact that I ain't even pay for promo on it or nothing, just doing it itself. That's what I'm saying. I should boost it. That
Team
motherfucker
Foxcatcher was
probably
released 2 years later and serves as a
really
great
gonna
companion
smack.
piece, retelling the story with a more grounded and arguably more disturbing angle. This Netflix documentary uses harrowing archival footage to tell its story. Viewers are also given a rather personal and alarming
That's
glimpse
it.
into
It's
the murder
already
victim.
got.
By
It only got
incorporating
4,000
all these
views. My
details,
other video
viewers get a sense of what led
got
to
7,000
DuPont's
views
horrifying
with the
actions.
350.
Documentary
So
explores
only
how
having
mental illness,
4,000
wealth, and power
with
can
the
create a
400,
nightmarish
bro.
situation.
It's crazy.
Schultz was the truest friend John had. Come on!
Number 16, Capturing the Friedmans.
Well, this is private, so if you don't.
It's like TikTok pushing is so crazy. They ain't never pushed one of my videos like that.
Situation between me and me. It's between me now and me in the future.
Then everybody reposting it, bro. I got like so many reposts.
Private.
What started as a short film about birthday party entertainers devolved into something much, much darker. Capturing the Friedmans delves into the activities of a disturbed man and his son, whose crimes are thought to range from possession of abhorrent material to using computer classes as a guise for luring in victims. Once that came to light,
I was gonna
the
put
rest
my
of the
song in
dominoes
the
came crashing down.
while I was talking, and I'm like, I'm not supposed to put the beat,
He would pull up a chair and sit next to you.
and I did it, bro. It sounded so fire.
Arm around your shoulder or on your leg.
Now I'm just gonna put the beat, that same beat at the front on my videos.
Made by some of his sons, giving the audience
That shit
glimpses
gonna be
into their
fire.
troubled home life. However, even more disturbing is the defense of his vile actions. Both aspects make an already off-putting documentary all the more disturbing, creating a
That
watch
shit
that's
dope, though. I
difficult
ain't
for
gonna lie.
many viewers to get through.
The types of behaviors which were described, which were, just downright satanic in nature. I mean, they make him sound like some kind of...
That's the most likes I got on any post ever, bro.
Being kind of a nebbish.
Number 15. This is the Zodiac speaking. Much has been written about the Zodiac killings.
Get on your stomach so I can tie your feet down. Okay. It gets really cold out here at night. We could freeze.
At this point, the case is among the most discussed serial tragedies in American history. This is the Zodiac Speaking is one of the most definitive documentaries about the case. It contains interviews with retired police officers and criminal profilers. Their first-hand accounts of the case give viewers unfettered access into the distressing story that has captivated Americans and true crime enthusiasts for decades. The disturbing story covers how Zodiac targeted innocent people and flippantly discussed his crimes. All the interviews in the documentary play on his notoriety. Seeing the impact the case has had on people's psyches is arguably even scarier than the story itself.
Well, I would say the paranoid initial lasted a good 6 to 7 months. People were very concerned, and it escalated every time after another reported killing.
Number 14, The Killing of America. Released in 1982, The Killing of America argues that the United States is in the midst of a messy cultural collapse. The title has both metaphorical and literal layers to it. Much of the film is centered around the incredible wave of violence that struck America in the 60s and 70s.
A few weeks after the assassination of President Kennedy, the murder rate exploded upward, tripled in just 10 years, and continues to the present day.
This includes the assassination of John and Robert Kennedy, the rise of serial killers, and a very distressing shooting. It's a shocking documentary that leaves viewers feeling extremely uncomfortable, featuring genuine footage of violence and interviews with the likes of criminals like Sirhan Sirhan and Ed Kemper. The Killing of America makes for one distressing watch.
A new breed of killer appeared. They didn't want money, or sex, or revenge. It was a new kind of murder.
They just wanted to
The
kill.
senseless killing of random strangers.
Number 13, The Cannibal That Walked Free. Having aired on the British station Channel 5, The Cannibal That Walked Free is a nightmarish glimpse into one of humanity's darkest crimes. through the lens of Japanese criminal Issei Sagawa. It explores the psychology behind cannibalism.
26 years ago, this man murdered and ate a woman in Paris. He has never stood trial. Today, he walks the Tokyo streets a free man.
In June of 1981, Sagawa killed and desecrated a student named René Hartefelt. But he was allowed to walk free thanks to a legal snafu between France and Japan. This documentary delves into Sagawa's crimes and the psychology behind his actions through interviews with Sagawa himself. Seeing this perturbing story get conveyed through the lens of the perpetrator can be skin-crawling. For many, it may prove too much to bear.
You see the beautiful girls on the train in the summer, and you see their legs, don't you? I think they look delicious. That much is true.
Number 12, Wisconsin Death Trip. Based on a non-fiction book of the same name, Wisconsin Death Trip is a sinister docudrama about a turbulent time in Wisconsin history. The story follows a series of disturbing occurrences that plagued the state in the late 19th
Bro
century.
took let me eat it to a whole different level.
Was unearthed for the purpose of removing the remains, and upon opening the coffin, it was discovered that she'd been
For
buried.
real, bro, he crazy.
This includes the abandoning of children,
Like, you eat it, get to do his house, do eating you like, what the fuck,
wasn't
bro?
troubling enough. The docudrama is also shot in silent black and white to convey the style of old movies. The aged cinematography immediately puts viewers on edge. Meanwhile, the contemporary newspaper accounts are chillingly narrated by Ian Holm.
Bro, it's
The
crap.
combined effect is one of deep and uncomfortable surrealism.
We can say honestly that we know of few states or cities which offer the advantages of those enjoyed by Wisconsin and Black River Falls.
Number 11, Eileen Wuornos, the selling of a serial killer. Eileen Wuornos was a sex worker who killed 7 clients between 1989 and 1990. 2 years later, Nick Broomfield made a documentary. Most of the film is centered around Broomfield's attempts at conducting an interview with Wuornos in prison.
I was doing fine until Tyra told me to start going to see strangers and make more money. That's how I wound up in this situation.
As she discusses the case, viewers witness the troubling defense that she put forth and the implications that it represented. The interviews with Wuornos are also bone-chilling. It's clear that her life was full of extensive pain and suffering at every stage. Years later, the documentary became an enormous inspiration for Charlize Theron, who would later win an Oscar for playing Wuornos in Monster.
Yeah, I don't need a ride. Because I want to take your car.
Number 10, The Imposter.
It gives you nightmares. It really does.
In 1994, 13-year-old Nicholas Barkley disappeared in Texas. 3 years later, a man claiming to be Nicholas came forward. But this man wasn't Nicholas at all. It was Frederic Bourdin, a French con artist. The Imposter explains how Bourdin was able to get away with it for so long, despite being significantly older than Nicholas and not looking anything like him. It's incredibly disturbing how Bourdin inserted himself into the Barkley family and tricked them into accepting him. Most remarkable of all, however, is that director Bart Layton conducted interviews with Bourdin himself, which makes the case even more complex as he somehow manages to come across as sympathetic.
From as long as I remember, I wanted to be someone else.
Number 9, Cropsey.
Growing up on Staten Island, Barbara and I had often heard the legend of Cropsey. For the kids in our neighborhood, Cropsey was the escaped mental patient who lived in the tunnels beneath the old abandoned Willowbrook Mental Institution.
A pair of filmmakers who grew up on Staten Island decided to take a closer look at the New York version of the boogeyman, Cropsey, and how or if this urban legend fits into the mysteries involving a series of kidnapped youth in the 70s and 80s.
When your child disappears and you don't know where that child is, to a parent, the child is never dead.
From the letters, prime suspect Andre Rand sends the documentarians claiming his innocence, to investigating the tunnels underneath the condemned Willowbrook State School for people with neurodevelopmental disabilities, and finally theories about devil worshippers. Cropsey is sure to send a chill down your spine.
Is there satanic cults, people that practice? Of course there is. But it's something that's kept very quiet, something that not many departments investigate.
Number 8, The Bridge.
So then I cut over just to see, or maybe possibly help.
The Golden Gate Bridge may be one of America's most iconic landmarks and the image that comes to mind when you think of the city of San Francisco. But for many, its looming presence is a symbol of tragedy. This documentary takes a closer look at some of these tragic incidents in 2004, but it certainly isn't easy viewing. It remains controversial, with reports of bridge jumpers increasing after the documentary was released. And in 2015, it was even removed from Netflix in New Zealand.
Gene had people in this world that loved him. And he hurt them. If I see him again, that's what I want to tell him. He hurt me, and I didn't think he would ever do that.
Number 7, Holy Hell.
I thought I was capturing life and expressing love.
While searching for a new home and a new purpose in the 1980s, film grad Will Allen fell in with the Buddhafield New Religious Movement, a cult based in West Hollywood at the time.
It was all designed to show how devoted you really were.
He wanted to control the social lives, interactions of everybody, what they did.
Allen became the group's documentarian and lived with them for 22 years, finally leaving in 2007. He became inspired to make a movie and used all the footage he had of his time with the Buddhafield cult and its leader, Michelle, to create Holy Hell. This direct look at the inner workings of a cult is both rare and creepy, made all the more unsettling by the fact that the cult continues to this day, now based in Hawaii.
Even to this day, I don't understand. But some people still stay.
Number 6, The Family I Had. Originally intended to examine juvenile criminals in the U.S., this documentary quickly shifted to focus on the personal tragedy faced by Charity Lee in February 2007 involving her young daughter.
She was in a body bag.
It follows Charity as she grapples with the reality of her son having killed her daughter, as she mourns Ella's loss but refuses to abandon Paris, still visiting him in prison. It's difficult to know what to make of this uncomfortable watch, as the film leans into the fact that with true crime, there are no easy answers.
I try to keep everything as benign as possible. I don't want to do anything that's going to make Paris want to hurt him.
Number 5, Titicut Follies. One of the most disturbing films ever made, Titicut Follies was banned for over 20 years upon release. Shot in black and white with no narration, it's a raw expose of the injustices that Americans with mental health issues faced in the 1960s. Specifically centered on the Bridgewater State Hospital in Massachusetts, the film shows the gross mistreatment of the inmates, all people in need of real care who were dehumanized and abused by those tasked with looking after them.
If I see enough improvement in you.
But how can I improve if I'm getting worse? I'm trying to tell you, day by day, I am getting worse because of the circumstances, because of the situation.
Despite being banned, the film was able to draw attention to these issues, though it still took decades for this to begin.
Whatever sins you have committed, by the use of your sense of touch, amen.
Number 4, Jesus Camp.
Listen, we hold the keys. We can change the world.
This look at a summer camp for one branch of evangelical Christians has been disturbing viewers around the world since its initial release. Seen by many as a damning portrayal of allegedly abusive practices at camps like the featured Kids on Fire School of Ministry, it played a role in getting
About to get off here, chat. Good luck for stopping through, BT. Appreciate you.